The Biden administration has wasted billions of taxpayer dollars on their diversity, equity, and inclusion scams, and now we're getting more details. A new report shows that Biden's education department alone, just the Department of Education, spent more than $1 billion on DEI grants. Examples include almost $4 million grant for a restorative justice program in Philadelphia, a $4 million grant for a 3-week, quote, culturally responsive, end quote, computer science camp for high schoolers, and a $38,000 grant for training by an equity consultant in Michigan. Joining me now is Terry Schilling, president of the American Principles Project, and Kaylee McGee-White, Blankley Fellow at the Steamboat Institute. All right, Terry, I'm going to start with you. Any ideas what a culturally responsive computer science camp is? Because we spent a lot of money doing that.
No clue, Jason, and thanks so much for having me. Listen, I think that Americans basically expect Washington and congressmen in D.C. to waste billions of dollars every year, but what they don't expect is to have their tax dollars weaponized against them and their children. Our kids, only a third of them can read and do math at grade level, and meanwhile, our federal Department of Education is teaching our kids to judge each other by their skin color. It's absolutely terrible.
Hey, Kaylee, this is money that could have gone to schools and to classrooms and could have followed the kids. Instead, it's going to grants that are out there to teach DEI. What's your take on $1 billion that didn't go to the kids?
Well, now we know why the incoming Trump administration wants to just abolish the education department altogether, Jason. It's because of this kind of stuff. And listen, we as United States taxpayers, we deserve better than hundreds of millions of our hard-earned taxpayer dollars going to these sorts of initiatives that do nothing to improve academic progress. You mentioned one grant that was awarded to Philadelphia's public schools, this restorative justice program, which, by the way, was led by a communist sympathizer, which I'm sure will not surprise you. Keep in mind, just 65% of Philadelphia's public school children, they are not reading at grade level. That is an embarrassment. So the question now is not why should we get rid of the education department, which clearly is not able to do anything remotely useful. It's how in the world could we possibly continue to justify propping up such an ineffective agency?
Terry, can you come up with a justification on why we should be giving out grants as opposed to letting those monies flow into these schools and school districts?
No, I can. And in fact, I had to pull my kids out of the public schools here in Fairfax County, Virginia, where it's supposed to be one of the top 10 school districts in the country. But they're indoctrinating our kids. They can't teach them how to read. Listen, Jason, I'm just so glad that President Trump got elected and he named Linda McMahon of all people, to come in and put the smackdown on the Department of Education and crack down on all this DEI nonsense.